I think you can see the screen, boys, the slide presentation.
Yes, Mami, we can.
Start writing the next chapter, moving charges and magnetism. Moving charges and magnetism. Actually, it has to start with Ampere's circuitous law, and then comes the other one. So I'm starting with the force experienced by a charged particle moving in an electric and magnetic field. Who is taking your pen? Who's going to take it? Right, boys. Moving charges and magnetism. You have learned about Oersted experiment in grade 10. What was Oersted's experiment was all about, boys? What was the Oersted experiment all about? You learned in grade 10. Hans Oersted's experiment. Now, what is that? A very, very important breakthrough. He used solenoids, fine. Now, boys, before his discovery, it was thought current electricity was a separate branch of physics, magnetism was a separate branch of physics. There was no correlation between them. What happened is that he started with the correlating your electric and magnetic field. Now, suppose if I want a magnetic field, I can use a naturally occurring magnets like a bar magnet, or I can use a offshore magnet, any magnets for that matter. But if I want to create a magnetic field, how can I create a magnetic field? How can I create a magnetic field? Can you create a magnetic field? Not using any of these naturally occurring magnets. Like hematite is your, yes, is passing current to any conductor will create a magnetic field, right? So a current carrying conductor creates a magnetic field. So that was the discovery, the relation between current electricity and magnetism. Very, very, very important. What to say, it's a milestone over there. Later on, you had electromagnetic induction. Now, if this correlation was not being discovered or laid, now you don't have any power supply. All your electric generators, electric motors, all working on the relation between electricity and magnetism. Such is an important discovery. That's correct. Correct. You have to find whether there is a magnetic field or the strength of the magnetic field, right? Now, first we'll see this first. A force experienced by a charged particle in an electric field, the force experienced by a charged magnetic, any charged particle in a magnetic field. Now, these two things are very important in so many devices and even in natural phenomena. In MRI scans, you would have learned about MRI scan, magnetic resonance imaging scans. There you will be learning about the magnetic field, the part of your magnetic field. Then your picture tubes. Your picture tubes uses both electric and magnetic field, where a charged stream of charged particles, like your cathode, the cathode ray tube, you'll have a metal filament which is being heated up. So it gives a stream of cathodes. So the electrons, we call them as cathode rays. When they are made to pass through a picture tube, these electrons will be deflected simultaneously by magnetic and electric field and continuously scanned over the screen, right? So that is a part of a picture tube. Then comes a natural phenomenon, northern lights in a magnetic field. That was first experienced by a charged particle and electric field. First experienced by a charged particle in an electric field. Okay. So if you have two metal plates, one is positive and negative, you can create an electric field between the two charged plates. Now this electric field will be uniform. When a charged particle enters an electric field, it gets accelerated. That's very important. A charged particle entering an electric field gets accelerated. The amount of acceleration or the force experienced depends on the strength of the electric field, depends on the amount of charge. Right? Write the formula. F is equal to Q into E. So the force experienced by a charged particle in an electric field depends on the strength of the electric field and the charge of the particle. That is very, very important for you all. Don't expect to stay back at home. Should move up in a professional course. I do understand things are distracting. Should not succumb to that. Have a goal. Everyone, I'm not pointing out at any one of you. Please understand, boys. This is a threshold, right? This is the age where you have to focus so that smoothly sail into your professional course. Before you complete your professional course, you should be in a job. Later on, hunting for a job is tough for all of you. Please put yourself. Fighting with others is easy, but fighting with your own self is very tough. Put yourself in order is very, very tough. You can fight with anyone else, but fighting with yourself and putting you in right order is very important. I do understand your sisters. Sorry. So many systems come up. Slowly deviates your mind, but what else can we do? You think of your future. Think of your future. Later on, you should not repent anyway. Where Q is the charge of the particle, E is the strength of the electric field. So now, where is this important? I think so. You have learned about radioactive elements. So in your periodic table, elements which have atomic number greater than 83. Now these form a radioactive series. Plutonium forms a radioactive series. Actinium, plutonium, uranium, thorium. Now why are these are radioactive elements? The reason is that the mass number becomes too heavy, which means inside the nucleus, the number of neutrons and protons keeps on increasing, so that there will be a strong electrostatic force of repulsion inside the nucleus. So your nucleus cannot be stable. Your nucleus now begins to break. This is what is happening in all your radioactive series. These elements, the mass number keeps increasing. They become heavy elements. So the number of neutrons and the number of protons inside the nucleus, it increases. What is electrostatic? It's electrostatic force of repulsion, either between a proton neutron or a neutron proton. So because of the strong electrostatic force of repulsion, your nucleus cannot hold these nucleons together. So these nucleons will now begin to break. Now as they break, they emit radiations. This is all happening spontaneously. There is no need for any environmental conditions. You need not increase the pressure, you need not increase the temperature of this material. It is happening spontaneously. You take, that is how this radioactivity was being discovered. Pitch blende is an ore of uranium. Pitch blende is an ore of uranium. What happened is that scientists covered the pitch blende with photographic plate. All these were accidental discovery. A pitch blende was covered with photographic plate. After some time, they removed the photographic plate. They saw the photographic plate was developed. When a photographic plate will be affected, when radiations are going to fall on it, right? No other radiations fell on the photographic plate, but still it has been developed. In that case, this pitch blende is emitting some radiations which are not visible, right? But they are emitting radiation. So all these radioactive materials, they emit radiations by themselves, nothing else, no external factors. As they emit radiation, they can emit radiations like your alpha rays, beta particles, and gamma rays. Gamma rays are more penetrate, have more penetrating power than your X-rays. They have more penetrating power than X-rays. So these are the part of your electromagnetic spectrum, gamma rays. Now, how can you detect? Pitchblende is emitting these radiations which are invisible. Now, how can you detect, make these radiations to pass through an electric field? Alpha, what are alpha particles? Chemistry you have learned. Yes? Helium particle. Helium particle, it's helium, but specifically what it is?
Yes.
This. It's ionized helium atom. You remove 2 electrons from your helium atom. Then you will get only the nucleus of your helium atom, which has 2 protons. So that is called your alpha particle, or we call them as ionized helium atom. What is a proton? Other name for proton. Positive charge, yes. Helium, see, alpha particle is ionized helium atom. What is a proton? Ionized hydrogen atom. You remove an electron from an hydrogen atom. What is left? 1 proton. Yes, that's it. So a proton is an ionized hydrogen atom. Alpha particle is an ionized helium atom. Right? Now these alpha particle, a stream of positively charged particle, they are deflecting towards the negative plate. Beta particles are nothing but stream of electrons. They are moving towards the positive plate. Your gamma rays are chargeless. They don't have any charge, but they have a very high frequency. That's the reason they have high penetrating power. So now all these, looking at the track, the path traced by these particles, you can say this is an alpha, this is a beta, and this is a gamma ray. So that's what this electric field, application of your electric field. Electrons. Now, next, motion of a charged particle in a magnetic field. Derivation. This time units for
Guys, I'm for guys. Ma'am went for a while, so she'll be back in a bit. Just learn derivation.
I can't hear.
I think we have the one to make
Motion of a charged particle in a magnetic field. Right, boys. Motion of a charged particle in a magnetic field. Now, when a charged particle enters an electric field, it will be accelerated. But when a charged particle enters a magnetic field, its path of motion will change. Is that clear, boys? When a charged particle enters a magnetic field, its path will change. Either it will move along a circular path or it can move like in a helical path. Can you see this path? Helical path. It will circle at the same time, it will be moving along a particular direction. So it can undergo a helical motion, it can undergo a circular motion, or a particle can undergo without any deflection. Three things can happen when a charged particle enters a magnetic field. Yes? Without any deflection means if the particle is moving, say, along positive x direction, it continues to move. Even if there is a magnet, we'll see what are the conditions required for a particle to move in a circular path, for a particle to move in a helical path, as well as for a particle to go undeflected in a magnetic field. Right, boys? And
Ma'am, will it be accelerated?
yes,
Will it be accelerated?
accelerated. It will be accelerated. But only thing is that it will keep on moving in the same circular path. But if both electric and magnetic field are there, it keeps on accelerating. Experience of force. And the northern lights, you would have learned about this, is an important natural phenomenon because all the cosmic, the particles from your sun is the source of all your electromagnetic induction, electromagnetic radiations, all these charged particles from sun, when it enters your Earth's magnetic field, this spectacular vision is being seen. So this is one example of what happens when a charged particle enters a magnetic field. So only an information, you can see that. When a charged particle enters a magnetic field, look at the path. Its path is going to change. When the body moves in a circular path, naturally it has to get accelerated, right? And can you see the dot, a circle with a dot that denotes your magnetic field is perpendicular, say, to the monitor, but it is going to act outward, either outward or inward. Cross are the fields which are going to, we'll move on to that. When it comes, how to find the direction, I'll explain right now, you'll not understand. All those dots represents your direction of your magnetic field. Dot and cross. We'll do that when we go for all the other things, right, boys? Why it's coming? Then we have to apply Fleming's left-hand rule, boys. Okay, in this case, can you apply your Fleming's left-hand rule? You have to use your Fleming's left-hand rule. Let us finish the next topic and come back to this. Like force experienced by a charged particle in a magnetic field. Should I write and explain? Should I put this PPT? This is better. Right, boys. Force experienced by a charged particle in a magnetic field. Now here in this chapter, especially in coming up chapter till your electromagnetic induction, right? You should know certain things, the angle theta. Now, can you see a magnetic field is acting along y-axis? Can you see this magnetic field is acting along y-axis? the magnetic field is acting along y-axis. The charged particle is moving in an xy plane. Can you see the xy plane? The magnetic field is acting along y-axis. The charged particle is moving in an xy plane, right? In such a way, it makes an angle. The direction of the motion, velocity means the direction of the motion. The direction of the motion of the electron or any charged particle. So the direction of the motion of the charged particle makes an angle theta with the direction of the magnetic field. So theta is the angle between B vector and V vector. The important ones. Only this angle decides whether the charged particle will move in a circular path, helical path, or goes undeflected. What is theta? Theta is the angle between the direction of the motion of the charged particle and the direction of the magnetic field. We consider because we are resolving your V into two components. We will be resolving V into two components, V sin theta and V cos theta. Boys, are you clear? A charged particle is moving with a velocity V in an xy plane. Clear? Then the magnetic field is acting along y-axis. This velocity vector makes an angle theta with respect to your magnetic field. You're resolving it into two components. The vertical component V sin theta, the horizontal component V cos theta. This angle theta is very important. It tells you whether the charged particle will go undeflected, whether the charged particle will move in a circular path, or whether the charged particle is going to move in a helical path. Now, the force experienced, will it not depend on the strength of the magnetic field? Greater the strength of the magnetic field, greater will be the force. Greater the strength of the charge, the force acting on it will be greater. And it also depends on the vertical component, not the horizontal component. We'll see why vertical component, not the horizontal component. So all these three things together, can you put these three things together? F is proportional to what happens? Combine all the three together. Okay. BQV sin theta. B sin theta, or introduce a constant of proportionality. BQV sin theta. Just for sake, you take A is equal to 1. So F is equal to BQV sin theta. It depends on the vertical component. Shall I go for the next one first? So combining all the factors, F is equal to BQV sin theta. The direction of F is perpendicular to both B and V vector. We'll see. We'll apply your Fleming's left-hand rule. The direction of F is perpendicular to both B vector and F vector. So keep this in mind. Your charged particle is moving in an XY plane where your magnetic field is acting along your y-axis. Now shall I go for the Fleming's left-hand rule? You know about Fleming's left-hand rule? For what reason you are using Fleming's left-hand rule?
Ma'am, can you explain what?
Fleming's left-hand rule. I'm just doing this. Your Fleming's left-hand rule, direction of the motion of the conductor. We were using it in grade 10 to find the direction of the motion of a current-carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field. Yes, direction of force. Now here, forefinger represents the direction of the magnetic field. Your center finger will represent the direction of the motion current. Current means what? The direction of the motion of the charge particle. What is current? Current is what is current? It's the flow of charges. So your center finger represents the direction of the motion of the conductor. Your forefinger represents the direction of your magnetic field. Naturally, your thumb will be stretched to the direction of the force. Now look at this. In your previous diagram, boys. In your previous diagram, just stretch the forefinger of your left hand along the direction of your magnetic field. Left hand, right? Okay. Next, your center finger is indicating the direction of the motion of the charged particle. Say your charged particle is moving towards you. It's a positively charged particle. Later on, we'll check for negative electrons. That's a different one. Your forefinger is along the direction of the magnetic field. Let the central finger be pointed towards you. That denotes the direction of the motion of the charged particle. Current means what? The direction of the motion of a positively charged particle. Now release your thumb. The thumb will be pointing upward, which means your particle will experience a force in the upward direction. If it is electron, it will be the other way. If it is electron, how will you do this? If it is electron, the motion of electron will be opposite to the direction of the current. This is your field. This is the motion of electron. Motion of electrons are always opposite to the direction of your current. Then your thumb will be pointing downward. You have to be careful in both the cases. And this. So it will be pointing, force will be downward. Okay, right, boys. Next, in vector form. Yeah. In vector form, F vector is equal to Q vector cross B vector. Now we'll go for the special cases. Now we'll analyze the conditions for which if V is equal to 0, then what happens to the force? If the charged particle is not moving at all, if the charged particle is at rest, correct? Yes or no? Force is 0. So that can also happen. The charged particle is not set in motion. If V is equal to 0, F is also equal to 0. A stationary charge will not experience any force. A stationary charge will not experience any force. Magnetic force. Yeah. It's an external, right? It's external. It will be a part of a system, but the charge particle is a separate entity. It's entering into a magnetic field. Next one, if theta is equal to 0, theta is equal to 0, in which direction, Harish? If the angle with which the particle is moving, I'll go for this. Theta is equal to 0, in which direction the particle will move? Along the direction of the magnetic field, right? If theta is 0, the particle will move along the direction of the magnetic field. And what happens to the force? Force will be? Yeah. So force is 0. F is equal to QVB sine theta. If theta is 0, boys, please understand, if the particle is going to move along, if theta is 0 means what? The particle is going to move along. Direction of the magnetic field, then only theta becomes equal to 0. Then the force acting on the charged particle becomes equal to 0. Then what happens to the particle? What happens to the motion of the particle? Yes? It will become stationary. It goes without deflection. Newton's first law of motion. There is no force acting on the charged particle. See, when a particle enters a magnetic field, keep this in mind. The particle is entering the magnetic field, but it's entering along the direction of the magnetic field. The force will be zero, which means suppose a particle is entering with a speed of 5 meters per second, right? Along the direction of the magnetic field, with what velocity will it move? 5 meters per second. Because the acceleration is zero, there is no force acting on it. Acceleration is zero, which means it moves with the constant speed. Is that clear, boys? Right? The charged particle moving parallel or anti-parallel to the magnetic field will not experience any force. Any force means it gets undeflected 180 degrees. Your magnetic field is acting positive x-axis. The particle is going to move along negative x-axis. A charged particle moving parallel or anti-parallel to a magnetic field will not experience any force, which means the particle goes undeflected. Which means the particle goes undeflected. Yeah. It goes undeflected. Anti-parallel will be unstable equilibrium. This will be stable, 0 degrees. Then if it is 90 degrees, then sine theta is 1. The maximum value sine theta can take, then force will be maximum. Because all these special conditions are very, very important. In this case, boys, in the last case, the charged particle will always move in a circular path. In this case, second case, here goes undeflected. Here it moves in a circular path. Moves in a circular path. All your reasoning based questions, application based questions will be from this chapter, these topics. So be very, very clear about this, boys. You should know how to apply your Fleming's left-hand rule. So the charged particle experiences a maximum force when it moves perpendicular to the direction of the field. Yeah. Case study, most probably for revision, I'll do tomorrow's class, case study most. Check on polarization and all, you should understand for case studies. Shall I go for the next one? Defining your magnetic field. Now see, defining magnetic field, what do you mean by that? Define a force. How will you define a force? How will you define a force? How will you define a force? F is equal to 1 Newton when? No, whenever they say define 1 Newton of force. So when M is equal to 1 kilogram, A is 1 meter per second square, force F becomes equal to 1 Newton. So will I define? The force acting on a body is said to be 1 Newton. When a body of mass 1 kilogram accelerates to 1 meter per second square. This is how you define the SI unit of force. Same way, now you have to define the SI unit of your magnetic field. It is being measured in Tesla. So what is 1 Tesla? You have to check. Next question. F is equal to QVB sin theta. F is equal to QVB sin theta, and how do you define that? F is equal to QVB sin theta. What is B? F by QV sin theta. If Q is equal to 1 coulomb, V is equal to 1 meter per second, theta is equal to 90 degrees. Your force under the magnetic field will be equal to the force experienced when a unit charge Q is 1 coulomb. Q should be 1 coulomb, and then the charge, it should move with the speed of 1 meter per second square, and the direction in which the particle moves should be perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. Then only V becomes equal to that. What is V? The unit of magnetic field is 1 Tesla. 1 Tesla is nothing but the force experienced by a unit charge moving with a unit velocity in a magnetic field in a direction perpendicular to it. So all these things you have to define. I'll go for the next class. It's break or this next class. Okay, boys, you can leave. Thank you. Thank you, boys. Magnetism will be slightly tough compared to other ones. Concentrate, boys.
Thank you.